They say college is where you find yourself. But looking back, I think it's just where you find out how much chaos you can survive. It was my freshman year. I was 18, naive, and absolutely desperate to escape my dorm room. My assigned roommate was a nightmare, so when I met him, let's call him Brad, at a frat party, he felt like a lifeline. He was charming, he had an off-campus apartment, and he seemed interested. I didn't know him, not really. But after knowing him for exactly 1 week, I packed my bags and moved in. It was the fastest and arguably the stupidest decision of my life. Living with Brad was educational. The charm wore off instantly. He wasn't just messy, he was a compulsive liar, a genuinely disgusting human being who thrived on manipulation. I wanted to leave. I should have left. But there was a complication. His roommate. Let's call him Alex. While Brad was out spinning lies, Alex and I were home. We started talking. Real conversations. We bonded over how awful Brad was, about music, about everything. I found myself staying in that toxic relationship just so I wouldn't lose access to Alex. It was twisted, I know. But loneliness makes you do crazy things. It started slowly, then all at once. Brad worked long shifts during the day. That became our time. For months, I was living a double life inside that apartment. While my boyfriend was at work, I was with his roommate. It wasn't just hooking up. We went on dates. We cooked together. We were functionally a couple in every way except the title. The guilt was there, buzzing in the background like static noise, but the adrenaline was addictive. We created this little bubble where Brad didn't exist. Until the clock struck 5 p.m., Alex was mine. It was perfect. Until the day the routine broke. It was a Tuesday. Brad wasn't supposed to be home until late. Alex and I were occupied. We were in the living room, completely lost in the moment. I was on my knees, focused on him, the TV blaring in the background. Suddenly, I heard the jingle of keys. The lock turning. My heart stopped, literally froze. There was zero time to react. The door swung open before I could even stand up properly. Brad walked in, tired, holding his work bag. I panicked. I just stayed close to Alex, trying to look casual, praying the angle of the couch hid what we were just doing. Brad didn't even blink. He walked over, leaned down, and gave me a kiss on the cheek. "Hey, babe," he said. EA had no idea. He never saw. But inside, I was screaming. That moment should have been the wake-up call, but it wasn't. Eventually, I did break up with Brad. But the cringe part? I didn't move out. I stayed. I started officially dating Alex, the roommate, while we all still lived there. The dynamic was suffocating. I dated Alex for 2 years. I thought I had traded up. I thought he was the savior in this story. Surprise, surprise. Turns out, if he's willing to sleep with his roommate's girlfriend for months, he's probably not a saint either. He ended up being just as garbage as Brad. College really is a wild time. It teaches you physics and literature, sure, but mostly, it teaches you that sometimes the red flags look just like carnival lights.
I never thought I'd be one of those people telling a story like this. A story about betrayal, about denial, and about someone who can look you in the eyes after 7 years of lying and still say you are the problem. My wife and I have been married for years, and we share a 9-year-old daughter. I always tried to be a supportive partner. I trusted her completely. I never checked her phone, never questioned where she was, never imagined I needed to. But all of that changed 2 months ago. It started with a gut feeling. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious. Just a quiet discomfort when she mentioned a man I knew she used to hang out with. A guy I told her I wasn't comfortable with all the way back in 2016. She said he was just a friend. And maybe I wanted to believe that. For years, she stopped telling me anything about him. No updates, no mentions, nothing. I thought the issue was gone, but it wasn't. One day when she left her phone on the table, a WhatsApp notification popped up. I didn't plan to look. I didn't want to look. But something inside me said, "You need to know the truth." So I opened the chat, and there it was. A recent photo she had sent him, flirty messages, plans to meet. My heart sank. I scrolled up and found out she'd met him twice recently. One of those times from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. A 12-hour window she never told me about. I confronted her calmly. I just asked what was going on. And that's when everything turned upside down. Instead of explaining, she exploded. She said I was disrespecting her. She said I was controlling her. She said she wanted a divorce. And then she started shifting the conversation to anything except the affair. Every time I tried to talk, she'd snap back with, "Why are you so stupid to believe there's something going on? He's nobody. You're imagining things," even though the evidence was right there. Even though she had hidden this man from me for 7 whole years. The worst part, she lives in another country now, and the guy she's been seeing lives in the same place as her. Meanwhile, I'm the one taking care of our daughter, her school, her daily needs, everything. And still, she blames me. She says I never respected her, even though I trusted her blindly. She says there's no one else, even though the messages tell a different story. She says I'm the problem, because the truth is too heavy for her to carry. I don't know what will happen next. I don't know what the future holds for our family. But I do know this. Sometimes the person you trust the most is living a life you know nothing about. Sometimes the betrayal isn't just the cheating. It's the years they spent pretending nothing was wrong. And sometimes the hardest thing is realizing they would rather destroy you than admit what they did. This is my story, and I'm still trying to figure out how to heal from it. This story begins with a man who learns of a great betrayal, perhaps in the most absurd way possible. I'm 27 years old. I had been with my girlfriend for almost 3 years. We lived in the same house, shared expenses, and lived life as partners. We even had a joint credit card. I usually handled the payments because I was more organized in those matters. Everything seemed normal, or so I thought. One day, I received a notification on my phone. A payment made at a restaurant I didn't know. Normally, I wouldn't have cared. But this place was a spot we had talked about going to together. A small doubt crept into me. That evening, I asked. She said, "I went out for dinner with my co-workers after work." Her voice was calm. The story made sense, but that little discomfort inside me remained. A few days later, the same restaurant. Again, a payment for 2. What was strange this time was that she hadn't gone to work that day. On her day off, at the same place, a dinner for 2. This time I said nothing. I just waited, and I looked more closely at the credit card transactions. Other payments from the same area, coffees, bars, little notes. All of them were small signs I had never noticed before, but when put together, told a lot. One evening, I couldn't take it anymore. We sat down. I looked into her eyes and asked directly. Before I could finish my sentence, she started crying. She confessed she had been seeing one of her co-workers for a while. "It wasn't planned. I didn't want to hurt you," she said. Cliché sentences, familiar explanations, and that moment when nothing eases the pain. But what hurt me the most was not being betrayed. Throughout this process, I had personally paid for all those restaurants they went to, those coffees, maybe even their meetings. I financed my own heartbreak with my own card. They moved out last week, quietly. We shared everything between us and closed that chapter. I cancelled the joint card. I got a new one. I stopped sharing the rest of life. But somewhere inside me, there is still this strange feeling. When a person truly decides to betray someone they love, the clues are hidden in very small places. Sometimes, even in a phone notification. But despite everything that happened, today I know this story is not just about betrayal. It's about some things falling off your shoulders like a cancelled credit card, and about freeing yourself from burdens you don't even realize while walking alone on a silent, cold night. Maybe sometimes the greatest closure is turning your back and walking away without saying a word.